Underdog Daily with Badge Bros, Jon and Nez. Back on the platform, the people, the Black and Yellow Dog app, the place where it is best ball week every damn week, my friend Nez. We got some fun stuff. We got good stuff going on in the lobbies there. We had that Dalmatian over the weekend. We got another iteration of the Dalmatian there right now. We're going to talk about a potential groundbreaking future contest. If you guys are checking around in the chat there's a poll up there. We're going to take your votes into consideration here. But fun week. We're going to do our first double dribble. I've yet to get in the streets. I tried to get in there opening night, did not work out. We're going to do our first double dribble. We're going to do some home run pick 'em stuff for the home run derby this evening. And then we'll just draft whatever's up in the lobby. Maybe a Dalmatian, maybe a BBM. We'll see how things are going here. Nez, my friend, how was the weekend? Muted.
So I was making some adjustments. No, it was pretty nice. A lot of roses. Didn't do a ton, to be honest. A ton of UD or a ton of dailies. So it was it was good though. It was good. I needed a little bit of a daily reset. I got an early start on the All-Star break.
Nice. Yeah, actually likewise. There we were smelling some roses there. Obviously I was off on Friday and that sort of thing. But back in the thick of things this week, back into the weeds, dude. And I think we got to start with a conversation that I would involve the chat on. If you guys are looking in the chat, there's a poll right now. We're having some conversations behind closed doors. I think it's time, Nez. I think it's time. We know that you are a multi-millionaire, and I have heard that potentially you're going to break off a chunk of that money in a guaranteed prize pool for the Badge Bros Brawl this year.
My hard-earned money is being put up. That's right. You heard that. You heard right.
We had to call in the big guns. So we were having some conversations behind closed doors. Hopefully it's going to be dropped very soon here. It was so well received last year. It was a beautiful, fun contest, a spin of the daily contest. Last year it was 6-round drafts, 6-person drafts, 18-round drafts. So it cut the best ball player pool directly in half. We may or may not run that back based on your guys' feedback and what's going on in the chat right now, because there are potentially some options on the table to hashtag make it bigger, which makes me really excited here. But let's just have the discourse. Let's have the conversation that we were going to have behind closed doors, but with the community right now. Do you want to run back this format? What are some of the pros, cons, etc.?
Yeah, I think it's like a pretty interesting thought to think about. Obviously, a 10-round version of the Badge Bros Brawl, and if we did do 10 rounds, it would be a little bit of a different starting lineup as well. If we did do that, it wouldn't be like a traditional starting lineup. So that wrinkle for me, like, I think is fun, but I think people just loved the OG, and by the OG, the only version of the Badge Bros Brawl that I think I would prefer to just run it back. But I am curious what other people think, because even with 6-person drafts and 18 rounds, like you're only like you barely have to think, right? Your draft, you have such good players at every single pick that, like, I don't know, man, these drafts might take in this one 15 minutes max in an 18 round 6-person. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I prefer the 18 round, but I am curious to see what other people are thinking.
Yeah, so if there's a poll up in the chat right now, guys, vote at your leisure here. It's all going to be taken into consideration. I see Numi's hanging out in the chat. I see Brett was in the chat earlier there. All your feedback will be heard and taken into consideration. That's why we're having this kind of like open forum debate. And like my initial reaction was, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like, it worked so well last year. If we just make the prize pool bigger and the entry cap higher, we could be cooking, right? But there's a couple new wrinkles, right? There's the 20-second clock opposed to the 30-second clock. So they're going to be faster no matter what, right? Then you brought up the roster size thing. The other wrinkle is, if it's only 10 rounds, we have our own ADP. So because it falls into the playoff contest bracket of structure, it would be our own ADP instead of just being reliant on BBM or Puppy and whatever standard ADP. So it would be tethered to 6 persons. I do see Best Ball Viper in the chat saying no 3-person drafts, blah, blah, blah. No, that's the in-season iteration of this. This will be 6-person drafts for the summer for the best ball format of it. Yeah, Nez, does that change your opinion in any regard there? If you know that we're going to have our own ADP, or does it not even matter?
I mean, I think that's cool, but I still prefer keeping the full rosters and going 18 rounds. I mean, what I really prefer is definitely a Superflex version of this, but that'll never happen.
You're too sick.
That's what we should do. That's what we really should do. But
you're so Superflex pilled this year, dude.
But like, it really does. Like, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole. It really does make the most sense for a 6-person draft to make it Superflex, to like really kind of like crank shit up and make you really have to make some decisions. But it's neither here nor there. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Yeah, we're not doing that this year, but maybe. Never say never. Never say never. If we are successful in filling this thing and hopefully getting this thing out in short order here, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we could run back a smaller iteration that is of the Superflex variety at the tail end of draft season. Never say never, Nez.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this though. Once this goes live, I will say, like, no matter what we end up doing, like, I think we can get a pretty big prize pool next to our names, which like cool. I'm gonna be pretty excited about. So yeah. fingers crossed on what that number ends up looking like.
Yeah, selfishly, that is cool as hell. Yeah, selfishly speaking, that is cool as hell. But I want it to reflect the interests of the community in the best ways possible. Nez, I want to double check here as I'm going back in the archives. It was $10 price point last year, right? Respook's asking entry fee. And then I'm blanking on it right now. I'm rolling it back. I'm looking through my archives right now because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure we differentiated it from the other contests. Oh, here we go. I got it. Badge Bros Brawl last year. Here we go. I'll share it with everybody here. This is what Badge Bros Brawl of last year looked like. There we go. So $10 price point. It filled so effing fast. It was $50K to first. Yeah, it was 200K total prizes, 21K entrants. It filled. It had the reduced rake structure as well there, and it filled so fast. I remember I was on a road trip with the boys, and I was just jamming them before I got to the border because I couldn't register once, and they were fast only, and I couldn't register once I crossed the border to Seattle. So I was just jamming them as I went. I had like 10 of them on the clock at a time,
and it was fast only, I think, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, everything all in all looks like we'll be running back something similar to this. It's just whether we want it to be 10 rounds or 18 rounds. So that is up to you guys. Vote it out in the chat there. We will have an open discourse about it all. Yes, elephant in the room here, easy. Your boy did get some sun. The second round of the weekend started out extremely overcast. And then the sun came out and it perked up an extra 10 degrees Celsius. And I just had the spray sunscreen in the bag, not the lotion. And I paid the price. I did, in fact, pay the price.
Can I want to divert the attention away from your sun-kissed skin for a moment.
Please, please do.
You know what I think would make sense here? One thing I loved about our contest was that it was prizes only for making the finals. But one thing that I would like to do, and I don't know if this is just like a huge pain in the ass for Underdog, I would like, and hear me out, to when you qualify, you win $1. When you make the quarterfinals, you make another $1. So that would be now $2. Semifinals would be $3, and then championship is where all the money is. And the reason I want that, or at least for the qualifiers, is so that way you can tell how many teams you're advancing. Because if you don't win any money for advancing, you have no idea how many teams you're actually advancing. So I think we should award like $1 for if you advance.
Dude, I never thought about that like that.
Yeah, I suggested that to them.
Interesting. Yo, good shout on that one. Okay, cool.
For
Okay,
like a prior
conversation.
contest, yeah.
Yeah, conversation for a later date there, but I think that's a really good proposition. I don't know how much money that pulls out of the prize pool just for the sake of like convenience for the user, but
Yeah.
maybe there's a way to balance it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just hear me out. Just hear me out. But oh, dude, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
This is such a cool thing to have our name attached to. Shout out to Numi. Shout out to Underdog.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. So we will keep the rest of the details close to our vest. We are hoping for mid to late this week. So keep your ear to the street. It should be a really fun one. We will run a show in tandem with it going live, that sort of deal. But yeah, that's all I got on the topic right now. You got anything else to add and or say there, Nez?
Nope. All good.
Okay, cool. As you guys can see by my face in our previous conversations, and Nez saying we smelt the roses in a big way over the weekend, there was not in a ton of stuff to give credit and shout out to a bunch of the winners on the site. Apologies, my friends, but I did see that our good friend Brad found his way back to the top here. It's been a tough year for Brad, not in terms of underdog stuff, but just in terms of life stuff. So we've been sending some love his way. But the number one reason, other than giving Brad his flowers, that I wanted to bring up a screenshot from the weekend is those beautiful percentage drafted on the left-hand side of your fantasy points in the roster there. So as you guys can see, Kyle Stowers with that 3 home run game was the guy you needed, and he was only 14.28% drafted. So it's so cool to see that like, on a day in which the draft percentage stuff got added over the weekend, you also see that 2 scroll the F down mini stacks of a 14 and a 15% alongside some chalky 90% players are the ones that get home. So very cool to see our long-term concept and theorization come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I love the way this looks. I'm just kind of shaking my head because what was it? Which Saturday or Thursday? I'm trying to see. I was loaded up on this goddamn Marlins game. I had all the Kyle Stowers in the world. Baltimore, great place for left-handed power, and I don't play this day. And Kyle Stowers goes for 56. What? Holy shit!
Always be drafting, baby. Always be drafting.
ABD. Unreal.
Speaking of the aforementioned Numi in the chat there, the mini Schnauzer is live. So we got a new small entry contest live in the lobbies. We'll take a peek at that before we talk a little home run derby action. I might have to give this a refresh just because I hit the back button. Instead, we'll take a peek at that for all my low stakes grinders. Take a little peek. Where are we going here? There we go. Mini Schnauzers. So great success over the weekend with that $1 101 entry Dalmatian that flew off the board there. And now we're running it back with a 20 max one at the $3 price point, a little more traditional format there. 10K to first in the mini Schnauzer, 20-second clocks and 8-hour clocks as we've grown accustomed to. So that is live for all my grinders in the streets.
Yeah, that $1 contest was so awesome.
Yeah, very much so. Fun to see the 101 dropped alongside the one with 101 at the same time there. That was a very cool.
Very clever.
Yeah, very clever branding execution there by the team. My guy, the Miso Tuna, saying, when shout out losers. I mean, we would just be talking about me every day. So I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Okay, Nez, I need some totally objective, not homerism, inherent biases for this home run derby, my friend. We got 8 participants in it, both of our favorite ball clubs being represented here this evening. I will shout out some of the format changes in case people are unaware, because that definitely will impact some of these higher lowers. And I'm not sure everyone is aware of them just yet. And I want to get kind of your thoughts on it. But just before we go full deep dive on this and make a couple entries, just macro thoughts for this evening with the participants and that sort of deal.
It's a pretty cool cast, man. A lot of heavy hitters, a lot of young guys, and you know, Byron Buxton being in this is really awesome. I'm excited to see him here. You know, he's having an awesome season, and you know, it's about time. So excited to see him. Matt Olson, home field advantage, getting a little disrespected. So sort of like Matty O here. Yeah, this is a really fun crew of participants here, and Junior being the biggest dog for me is like, I'm all over Junior here.
Dude, I'm kind of with you, and I'll walk through a couple other reasons as to why there, but like, yeah, Junior's been a little bit of our guy this year, just in terms of like some of the bat speed stuff and how hard he's been hitting the ball, that sort of stuff. But yeah, man, this is a fun one because it's the mix of, you know, first half Darling and Cal Raleigh, as you mentioned, like some of these young emerging stars like James Wood and Neil Cruz, Junior Caminaro. Jazz is you know, kind of like a toss in, like little swaggy guy, a guy we would have been way more excited to see in this like five years ago, but he brings a little swag, a little pizzazz to the table. He'll probably be wearing a chain and having a multicolored bat and cleats and stuff like that. Pretty cool. And then you have, you know, kind of like these two ex-Oakland Athletic sluggers here, you know, one from each side of the plate. Hometown narrative with Matt Olson after he's replacing Ronald Acuna in this. And then Byron Buxton doing it for his son narrative. He got hit on the hand with that pitch, and then it proceeded to not impact him at all because he hit for the cycle over the weekend there, capping it off with a home run. And now he's going to be participating this evening. So very cool story that he wants to do it for his son, in front of his son, all that sort of stuff. Nez, the changes to the format this year. So in the last couple years, it has been a tiered bracket, and it had been like 3-minute rounds. Guys get one timeout. They'd take their timeout, and then if they hit a ball over 450, they'd get an additional 30 seconds added to their timer. That has been done away with. Now it's just all 8 are going to hit, and the top 4 are going to move on, and then the next grouping, the top 2 out of 4 are going to move on, and then the 2 go head-to-head. So the bracket is now gone. The rounds have also changed. It is a 40-pitch limit and a 3-minute timer. Whichever comes first is how that'll end in the first round. And then the bonus period is not a timed bonus period. It's 3 outs, like the old school way.
Cool.
So, yeah, so they're kind of doing a hybrid version of both. And yeah, like Miller's saying, like, didn't realize it changed. And it really makes a difference because of how many of these home run totals are going to be impacted by it. There is also a way to get a bonus out, Nez. If you hit a ball greater than 425 in the scoring period, you receive, or in the timed scoring period, you receive a bonus out there. Then also, guys, for the second wave of like in evening live pick'em stuff, the next 2 rounds are shorter than the first round. So you're going to see some really enticing numbers pop up in the lobby, but it's because the rounds are shorter. So just giving you guys the alpha to not get duped by that situation, because the first round, as I alluded, 3 minutes and 40 pitches. The second round is 22 minutes or 27 swings.
Wow, 27 swings?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so we got pitches and swings involved. I was with you, and then we got the swings in there, and now I'm a little now my head's spinning a little bit. And then remind me, the outs. When do the outs come into play again?
Outs is overtime of the first round, the bonus period of the first round.
You have to hit 1 425 plus to get outs.
To get an extra out. Everyone gets 3. That's my understanding.
Okay, so no matter what, you're getting those 3 outs. Okay. Yeah.
So you're gonna get 3 minutes and 40 pitches. To summarize, sorry.
Yep.
You're gonna get 3 minutes and 3 minutes or 40 pitches to hit as many as you possibly can, and then the bonus period, which is untimed 3 outs. So any home runs, any swing that's not a home run, like the old school days. Yeah.
So a little bit of game theory here. Like, you could sort of kind of ease up on the first round, you know, maybe like warm up. And then once you get to that bonus round, then really kind of take your time and just start launching. from there because it's untimed. You know, it's just a matter of not getting out. That's really interesting. I would like to. I wish I knew. You know, I didn't know I was doing a show today. Obviously, it sprung on me. I should have looked at these new rules. Because like I want to go full deep dive and see like, okay, like X amount of time last year, what were guys putting up, so I could kind of have an idea. But you know, I think this work has been done for me via the Pick'em lobby. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the edge here. I want to figure it out.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think through some inefficiencies in the market here as well. I will share this tweet in the chat here. I was using the Ballpark Pal. It's not on the website, but Ballpark Pal tweeted out some graphics here. Just a reminder of like what's going on at the field and stuff. I'm a little skittish about some of the lefties. It's 10 feet closer on in left field, but the wall is 16 feet high instead of that short corner in Atlanta, which is 6. So pull power righties were standing out to me. I don't know. That being said, there's a whole bunch of narratives at play.
Also, for what it's worth, the leader in like launch angle sweet spot, which I think like if you're trying to search for any sort of advanced metric, I think like attack angle, like launch angle stuff is probably the best because everybody can swing hard enough to hit a fucking home run in the Derby. But who's really got the angle down is Brent Rooker. So, you know, a right-hander here. So I think step one is putting in a Brent Rooker higher.
My mind went straight to Junior Caminero and Brent Rooker as well, dude. Like there's also a little less emphasis on fatigue this year. Like the year Vladdy won, for instance, everybody was worried about fatigue and like, you know, this sort of thing with a guy like of that body type and a guy who swings so hard and hits it so hard. I'm a little less worried about betting on like Rooker's not old, but the older guy of the group, you know, I'm a little less worried with like the stoppage of the clock and getting some outs as you were alluding to. Like if he gets hot in that period, like look out.
Yeah, that's so funny. I forgot about the fatigue thing. People were worried about Fat Vladdy.
Yeah. Some other alpha from the Ballpark Pal here, just breaking down, home run candidate fly balls and just where they've been located for each of them. So as you guys can see, like Jazz is like a dead pull guy who probably, traditionally speaking, has the least amount of power in the Derby, and he's going to the bad side. So like a guy like Jazz, I'm instantly like a little off of.
Good shit.
Yeah, and then like Rooker, he's got some center field pop as well, but I'm kind of attributing some of that to the short wall in center in Sacramento. Like, you know how it's like there's a dip. So I was thinking maybe some of those fly balls could be explained that way. But yeah, man, that pull side power of both Buxton, Rooker, and Junior Caminero is jumping out to me.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think a Rooker, Buxton like higher, and then a Jazz lower could probably feed families.
Okay, cool. I like that. I like that as a jump off point right there. Johnny's throwing some alpha in the chat here. 3-year rolling park factor home runs favored towards lefties in Atlanta. A lot of noise in 3-year, but like that's a good note that just in general, left-handed power is played better there. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm 16-foot wall pilled.
Me too, right? I actually think Vlad is peak male physique. Does Junior swing too hard? My column. That was kind of my thoughts with O'Neal Cruz as well. Like, are these guys swinging too hard to hit it too far to have the high exit velo be like a quote unquote bad thing? You need natural fly ball power.
Well, Cruz is gonna do bad because he's gonna embarrass me. That's why. He just it's just solely for my detriment and for my embarrassment and my shame is why O'Neal Cruz is not going to do well. Do you remember when Jason Bay, John, was in the home run derby?
Yep, I sure do. Good Canadian kid, BC boy, Jason Bay.
You remember how he did?
No, but I believe it was it that year was at Fenway with the Monster?
That's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Jason Bay hit 0 home runs.
Oh no. Oh no.
Representing the Pirates, by the way, if you're like wondering who the hell is Jason Bay, why does it matter? He was like the first time in my young boy life the Pirates had a representative in the home run derby. I don't even think Brian Giles, as a Pirate, ever made the derby because he was awesome, but like you had like Sammy fucking Sosa in 2002. Jason Bay 0 home runs. That was so embarrassing. And then when Andrew McCutchen was in the home run derby, John, I was excited. ESPN interviewed somebody over him the entire time. They didn't even
give him a shine.
Oh, so Oneil Cruz, man, he's either
right
like
the ship. He's right in the ship tonight for the people of all the Pirates Nation. He's gonna raise it.
He's gonna blow or he's gonna do well, and everyone's gonna be like, future Yankee, like he's gonna look so good in pinstripes, and then I'll blow my brains out.
Oh god, that was a good segment. I love it. Nez, some more alpha here rolling in. Like, who knew we could get so deep on this? I love that we're so sick in this community to be going down these rabbit holes together. Clay has now offered up. The commissioner's office has officially determined the order for this evening. So knowing that target number, is there some alpha to, okay, early in, like they're going to be swinging more. Like, is James Wood going to be trying to hit 30 when he only needs 22 in the first round, whereas Matt Olson has home field advantage, goes last, and he knows, oh, I only need 25 to get to the next round. I can take my foot off the gas, kind of thing. So some alpha in this, that Brent Rooker and Junior Caminero are going in the early portion, going to be swinging out of their shoes. This is really supporting our thesis here.
Yeah. So here's the play, right? I don't know that we touch Matt Olson. I don't, but like, if I do, I think you take a lower. But I think Matt Olson is a great round 2 play if he makes it for a higher, because then he's going to show out for the home crowd.
Dude, I love that take. That is a live Nez play. Nez picks, aka Nez takes, in the middle of the home run derby on his Twitter feed today. Boom, there it is. You're going to drop it.
Badge Bro Syndicate,
Yeah, there you go.
Pick 'em incoming. Underdog. And then we're dropping the link.
Oh man, I love this. Okay, cool. King Nez, yes, absolutely. I
love you, JGFC.
Some elite exit velocity causing wall dents. I love that. I love the not getting the ball elevated enough narrative too, for like Oneil Cruz and like some of these guys who just hit absolute piss missiles, like just frozen ropes.
Cruz has sent balls outside of PNC Park though, and they've got the Clemente wall. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about Cruz, but I'm seeing these numbers being adjusted in real time, so we need to. Okay, we got to put something in the lobbies.
All right, let's do this. We are going to put this in play right now. I'm jumping back over here. I'm going to give it a refresh to make sure we are all up to date for the home run derby. Nez takes, we have landed on starting with the righties and doing Junior Caminero higher first round, Brent Rooker higher first round, and Byron Buston.
Yeah. You could throw a Jazz lower if you want, but yeah, I think those 3 for sure.
Okay. Let's do those 3 together. And then let's run it back with who's your least confident of this grouping?
Of the 3 that we're looking at here?
Yeah, the 3 that we're staring at.
I think Junior.
Okay. Yeah, light's a little too bright for the rookie kind of vibe.
Yeah, and he could be a swing speed, a bat speed merchant, whereas like Buxton's just like got it like that, and Rooker's got the angles. That's how I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm about it. Rooker does feel like the comfiest click. Buxton feels like he's just been on Fuego talent play this year and doing it for Sun narrative. And then Easy's dropping some alpha in the chat about Jazz. that Jazz actually openly stated. Jazz said he's not trying, so don't love that. That doesn't seem great. That does not seem great.
Are we serious? Did he really say this?
I guess.
If we get a quote, we need to do a lower on his longest distance, because that's the goddamn move. But I need to confirm this.
Nez, before we do that, I have a couple, because I wanted to mess around with the longest as well. I have a couple. We could also do like the first round finish. Like we could call our shot of like the 4 guys who advance and just do 4 together like that, which would be a lot of fun. So I want to do the 4 that advance together. Like we call our shot on the 4 first round guys that advance. And then I want to know your thoughts on Cal Raleigh, because we haven't really talked about him. He leads all of baseball in home runs, 38, most before the All-Star break in MLB history, outside of Barry Bonds' 39. Yeah, man, this big dumper stuff, the switch hitting catcher vibes, though. We had this with Adley Rutschman last year or the year before, the year that was in Seattle 2 years ago. We had it with him, and it gives me kind of like the Hebes that like a guy misses a couple from one side, and instead of sticking with it, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to flip to the other side, And that gives me the Hebes out here. Like call a timeout, flip to the other side. He says he's going to bat left-handed to start, but I don't know, man.
You think he's a bit of a showman? Do you think he'll do the switcheroo?
I don't know. He seems like such a gamer that he'd rather win than show off, but I don't know. If you can do it, why not? Like if everybody else is hitting them just from one side, and then you just go, oh, by the way, I have the most bayous in the big leagues and I can do it from both sides, double bird. Like I would do that, but we all know I would do that. So
I feel like, the home run derby has so much variance involved that, just when I see a guy with like a high number like that, I just think, fade. But that could be a squares opinion.
This is really good alpha again from Clay in the chat. He's been doing the deep dive here. Brent Rooker has his personal coach throwing to him, so that's bullish here. Jazz has his stepdad throwing to him. Everybody remembers the old Robinson Cano era one where he had his dad throw to him and he couldn't put a strike out there to save his life, and it cost him the Derby. So then he came back another year later without his dad throwing to him and won the Derby. So that was the old Robinson Cano era with dad throwing to you. Stepdad, maybe a little bent up hostility, a little rage in stepdad versus dad. I don't know.
Come on. He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Here's next up for us, John, is, I don't know if you noticed, but next to round 1 home runs, you can slide that thing.
Oh. Okay. I'm listening.
So I think here's what I'm thinking. You got Big Dumper. Pull it up. Brent Rooker slid to 24.5.
Okay. Brent Rooker slid to 24.5. That's kind of our guy right now. Rooker's our guy right now. All right.
So this is going to be just like the L word that we want to do. And then I'd like to do another. Well, of course. And then I'd like to really shoot the moon. But I think we do Jazz lower home run distance with this.
Okay, cool. So we put that in there. That's almost a 10x there. So we make that bad boy 4 to people. Put that in the chat for everyone. And then we're going to run it back because we L-word Brent Rooker this evening. Brent Rooker, professional coach, the right-handedness, everything. He's the best natural power hitter in the contest outside of maybe Matt Olson and Cal Raleigh, but I'd throw it up there. But Nez, what are we going to keep in there with Brent Rooker for this last run?
We want to do junior higher distance.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Junior higher distance. Got it.
And then some of these guys have there's 2 exit velos numbers here
Mm-hmm.
with Cruz and Wood. I kind of think James Wood higher exit velo.
I'm glad you said Wood instead of it. Not only because it's 5 miles per hour less, but also like rookie guy going first. Like, just don't you feel like he's just going to swing out of his shoes here in a big way?
Yeah, and he's obviously got like insane power. So
yeah, awesome. Okay, that was fun. Last one I want to do here, Nez, is just call our shot on who we're calling here. Four guys to win round 1.
Okay.
Because we can pick the 4 guys. My mind instantly goes to Buxton and Rooker as like potential winners, and then we pick the next 2, unless you disagree with those.
We can't stack finishing position.
Damn. Okay. I should have experimented with that before the show. Okay.
I would have.
So you can
it would have
only
been fun
use
to
them as
exacto that, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I was trying to do, like the horses all finishing in a row kind of deal.
Yeah. Exactly that.
They won't let us do that. All right. Well, I think that's a good then. I think that's a good play for this evening. We're kind of all in on Brett Rooker a little bit. We think the number's a little bit low. We love the handedness. We love the pull side power. We love all that sort of stuff. Yeah, Miller saying they allowed it last night but changed that this morning. Okay, interesting. Okay, I missed that. Clay saying worried about exit velocity with pitch speed. That's a good take.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we always say throw hard, hit hard on the program. I do think 115 is still obtainable for like a guy like James Wood, but that 120 number scares me for O'Neal Cruz.
Where was the 24 home run derby? Was it in Arlington?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Arlington last year, Seattle the year before that.
Yeah. Maybe James Wood exit velo wasn't the move.
Okay.
Last year, here, John. Let me send this to you so you can screen share this because we got savant numbers for last
for the
season.
derby. Okay.
Mm-hmm. The highest exit velo was 110 or 111. Now James Wood wasn't there, but
right. Yeah, James Wood wasn't there, and we were dealing with a park that is air temperature controlled. Like, it's indoor, it's air temperature controlled. Like tonight, we might have a little bit of wind at their backs by the looks of it. When I'm cross-referencing with the ballpark pal here. 7 mile per hour, 6 mile per hour, 6 mile per hour, 89 degrees, 87 degrees, 84 degrees, depending on like the time of the evening there. Like you might get some balls flying with 89 degrees and 7 mile per hour at your back there. Like that could ramp things up more so than in an indoor environment. So there's your bold take, but I think you're onto something here with 225 home runs and the hardest one being hit was only 111. I think you are onto something with if we could play the lowers on those mile per hour numbers, we would.
Yeah, and I don't know how that's going to affect the home run distance. Like that, like how many extra feet are we given to like average distance because it's outside with the wind?
It's per 8 miles an hour. It's per. Sorry, let me get this right. Fuck, I have it in a notes tab somewhere. Oh my God, this is going to pain me right now. And to do it on the fly is agonizing. I believe for every 1.5 mile per hour of bat speed swing and 5 miles per hour of wind, it's 7 feet. Because the way that I saw the chart, it equates them the same. So it tells you, like if you're looking at swing speed and a guy's swing speed is down a mile per hour, it's 7 feet shorter that he will hit the ball than his previous outcome. If the wind is at his back and it's 7 miles per hour or greater, it makes up that deficit. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I think we can attribute. Yeah, fuck. I'm kind of like spiraling, talking out of my ass, and I don't want to give misinformation.
So here's what this is via the Google AI.
Okay.
Take with it what you will.
Sure.
1 mile per hour of wind can change the distance of a hit by roughly 3 to 4 feet, depending on factors of launch angle and exit velocity. A 10 mile per hour tailwind can add around 30 to 40 feet to a home run, which seems fucking nuts.
That's drastic. Yeah.
This is why AI is total slop. Let's go to MLB.com and see exactly. They have like an article here. Where's the fucking TLDR? Maybe I'll just throw this shit in the Claude and be like, tell me. Yeah, this is a fucking deep dive. Let me.
Yeah, this is. We went down. We started this as like, yo, we're just gonna do a couple like fun pick'ems for everyone off the hop, and now it was like rules breakdown. Who's pitching for everyone? What order they're hitting in? Like now we're looking at exit velos. Like we went full deep dive.
Well, what I think I'm getting at here at the end of the day is like, I think stacking longest home run distances in the pick'em lobby could be the move, because you don't lose anything on that in terms of multiplier. Like the correlation isn't like being docked. And I think that it is a positive correlation to make, right? Like if all of these projections are, and obviously they're fucking accounting for the wind, right? They're so much smarter than us. But what if they're not accounting enough? Then I think the stacking of those distances could make sense.
Yeah, that all, like if one's wrong, they're all wrong.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So
yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I don't know what's right or wrong, but like I think it's a great point. Yeah. Okay. I think we've lost the plot a little bit. Doing math stressful. Isn't this supposed to be fun? I dropped AP physics in high school, boys. Yeah, this is great. Nez goes AI is slop, and then immediately goes, let me throw this into Claude.
It's asking for Cliff Notes is different than like trusting Google to tell me
to tell us the answer to
respect Claude.
Okay.
All right,
guys, scroll up in the chat there. We dropped a shit ton of them. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, this is what led to this conversation, Justin. Like his max velo is like 122, and it's the hardest ball hit ever in the StatCast era, and it has to be coming at like 100 miles per hour at him for that to occur. So yeah. Nez, you're gonna have to share your screen to share that one, because it's giving me the old rope-a-dope again.
So here's what I did.
Okay, I'll jump. Let me jump back to the platform real quick. All right, let's do it.
Oh shit, I lost it as well. It is Cal Raleigh higher on the longest distance.
Okay.
I believe I did Buxton as well. I'll tell you in literally 2 seconds here. Yeah, no Buxton.
Okay.
Cal Raleigh, Brent Rooker, Jr., Matt Olson, higher distance.
Okay, so there's our higher distance one. There you go. All right, love it.
Okay,
put that in the chat for everyone. All right, Nez.
You know what this is, man? This is like me feeling, or us, like you can't have Settlement out here like fucking showing us up in the niche pick'em stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to brag about how well the community did in the home run derby, because we out of our ass put together some correlations on stream.
Yeah, let's see if we can best. So for those who are the uninitiated, there, Jack Settlement on the hot dog eating contest put together a five player entry there, and took the good platform for well over $300,000 with his community tailing. So this is what we are trying to do here with the home run derby. We are bringing down the good people at Underdog with this one right here. That's why we are trying so hard. All right, Nez. Also, we just value your guys' money. Like, I don't want you guys to make bad decisions based on us. We want to do our research associated with it. If we were in the business of shilling picks, we would not be making the kind of content in which we make. Nez, I think it's time. I'm just going to hop right in and hope the community fills the rest of this out. I have done next to no research on what rotations are going to look like this year, what depth charts are going to look like this year. I have done next to none of it, Nez. I've looked at ADP a handful of times. It is double dribble time. 3 more spots. We are going to figure it all out on the fly here. I'm going to drop 2 tweets from Underdog NBA that I was looking at earlier that can help you guys if you have not been in the double dribble streets yet with all the free agency movement there. So you guys can get a quick glance just by reading these 2 tweets, get caught up. I watched a little summer league action over the weekend there, Nez, but not a ton, but enough to get acquainted with some of the rookies and stuff like that. But yeah, just macro thoughts on what you've been seeing in the double dribble streets.
I haven't done a ton outside of like day 1,
sure,
which was when our friend Billy Pilgrim here was setting ADP very aggressively. But what I did like was, you know, things have changed so much, but Peyton Pritchard and Anthony Simons for the Celtics, I was pretty into, because
okay,
I don't know how much their game plan is going to change, but I do know they have the opportunity for these 2 guys to just like chuck absurd amount of shots up. So I'm also like seeing this new updated ADP in real time, but
okay.
I think guard is sneaky top heavy. I didn't really love the available guards for me late, but wing is also equally top heavy.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe you can find some late round guards. So I think with the Cole Anthony moving to Milwaukee is a really interesting late round guard. I don't know what his ADP is, but okay, nice, dead last
179.
So, yeah. Something to keep an eye out on.
Okay, cool. Let's that was some good, like, you know, macro, micro, I would say, where it was like, you know, player take specific, some maybe mispriced guys that you were trying to get on early there. Let's do kind of like the macro roster construction, and where you kind of alluded it to that, you know, you think wing and guard are top heavy, but we could talk through that in half a second after we make our first pick. Paulo goes there. We can go anywhere, dude.
Yeah, I like Cade.
Okay. Cade's on the cover, man. Let's go with Cade. We are big Cade guys. Let's do it.
He opened at ADP 30, but I promise you nobody got him later than like ADP 20 in the opening night, and probably never even fell that far.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like people are alluding in the chat here that Billy Pilgrim was the guy who was really pushing that movement to make sure he got pushed up there by taking him in the first round before anyone could get him in the third round.
It's very noble, right? He just went out here and didn't try to GM anything. He just like, I know what my favorite plays are, and I'm gonna go ahead and draft like they are where they should be. So okay. no GMs were had.
Yeah, he went full rankings bro on it. Okay, cool. Some interesting alpha from the chat too, like getting caught up in terms of Clev is in every draft, and so is Seth. And how would you say the other one there? I don't know how to say the other name there.
Unky Dom?
Unky Dom?
Unky Dom, yeah. 3 bands. Yeah. And Bobby's in the chat. Billy is Bobby Stats, by the way.
Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Yeah, we got some friends and family in here too. Nez, like roster construction wise, have you been doing 3 bigs, 4 bigs? Like what are you thinking?
I like 4 bigs.
Okay.
You only start 2, but
yeah,
I like 4 just because you can flex them.
Okay, now is wing, we got 14 seconds. Is wing deep enough to pass on KD here, or does KD feel like the pick?
No, I take KD, dude.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah, he's
turning
too
37
valuable.
this year, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
He is that offense though. They're gonna just everything's gonna go through KD.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because we talked about them as a high side pick and roll team for so long there, and everything ran through Sengun at the top with that high side screen. And then it kind of pivoted last year when Fred VanVleet was out for so long and Jalen Green not being as good a passer. And now it'll be interesting to see what they do with KD as a handling role associated with that offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, either way, his usage is going to be insane.
Yeah, either way, it'll be insane there. Okay, so let's go back to the roster construction thing. You're saying guard is top heavy, sneaky top heavy, wing is sneaky top heavy. Does that mean you've been doing more of the punt big lineups and like doing 4 bigs that way?
What I've done so far, yeah,
Okay.
it's what I felt most comfortable doing. Just like, well, but when I was drafting my 4th big, he was just like the best pick on the board. So I was like, well, let me just take him. You know?
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Ooh, I like Nick's start there, Scotty Bullway. Are we scared about Anthony Davis with the retina stuff?
I mean, we're scared about Najee. Shouldn't we be scared about Anthony Davis a little bit? I don't know.
Right.
He's going to be fine. And I mean, he's also going to be like the focal point of Dallas as well with everything. So he seems to be appropriately priced.
Okay, cool. Wow, it's weird to see Joel Embiid as like 28. You know, just so accustomed to seeing him in the front end of drafts for years there.
Yeah, I would like some more clarity on Joel Embiid before I start taking him.
Yeah. There's Cooper Flagg going at 29. That's kind of fun. I didn't think he looked great in his debut there. He was like 5 for 21 from shooting, and guys were picking him up like full court and blitzing him and stuff in that Lakers game. But yeah, nice to see, him just being drafted so highly. John Morant, who gave a terrible interview yesterday. No Zion for me. Anyone else that piques your interest, chat?
I'd say Denny or Ja.
Denny
or your guy Mello.
Let's do Ja. I don't know what
did Ja's interview say? I didn't even.
No, he just didn't want to be there. He was just at summer league, and I was watching a bit of the Memphis game, and he just wasn't giving it the time of day, and just wanted hood up, pulled down to just side eyeing the interviewer. It was pretty Ja.
What was it like on like a major network or something?
It was on ESPN. It was on their nationally televised game for the night on. What
were they asking him? Like, what do they want to hear from John?
Yeah, just like about the new acquisitions and then what the team would look like going forward, and the removal of Desmond Bane and the addition of Jalen Wells coming back and being because Jalen Wells started the most games out of any rookie last year for a team, which I found surprising. I thought it would have been Alex Sarr. But yeah, anyways, and they were just talking about what the new look team would look like, and he was also throwing him some kind of bad questions where he was you guys got bounced in the playoffs, what could you have done different kind of vibe. So it wasn't really fair.
They ran into the fucking champs. I mean,
yeah.
the fuck. Yeah, so it's team Ja there, man. He's probably high as shit in Vegas, man.
Yeah, oh, for sure he was.
Yeah. You talking to me right now?
Some interesting stuff in the chat here. Yeah, we talked about, you initially started with those Boston guys that you were moving up there, and they've moved up in a big way. They're kind of in that 70 range. Chad's asking where Almond was. Almond went to the 101 there. Seth at pick 25. Feels a good splitting the difference. We want to be excited about him because of last year. We don't know how to be excited about him because of Kevin Durant. So that feels like a good, splitting the difference.
Yeah, I don't know that that's even I think that's too rich for me, and I'm an Almond guy.
Okay. Chet goes there. We could do Mobley, some stacking principles in Jaren Jackson, the bad bridges. What do you like?
Probably a wing. Any one of these wings.
Bad bridges it is.
I'm fine with that.
It's interesting to see Brandon Miller as high as he is. Obviously got injured and missed, the second half of last year. I guess when all three of them were out there last year in terms of like usage split, we always drafted miles ahead. But on those slates that were like 7 gamers or whatever, we would draft all three. All three being Bridges, Ball, and Brandon Miller. There, you were a big Brandon Miller guy. His rookie year, will you be buying back in at this price tag?
I'm not like seeing that and like thinking overly bullish things. Like I think I'd probably take Derek White over him.
Okay.
But I'm still excited about them. The Hornets I need to like figure out because I feel like their starting lineup is not that bad. So like, what's going on here? I'm kind of intrigued.
I'm gonna pull it up. So Mark Williams is gone. Nurkic is gone. What else happened with them?
Did they lose their backup point guard?
Micic?
No, the other guy. Is it Mann?
Trey Mann? No, Trey Mann's still there.
Okay.
I'll bring it up in a second here. So what would we anticipate their starting lineup being here? We got Ball, we got Bridges, Connington off the bench, obviously. They got Dinwiddie now. I didn't know that.
The big three, and then I'm not really sure who their 4 and 5th guy would be.
Okay. Nets, we're going to be back up here in a second. Jalen Green, wow, that seems pretty high for Jalen Green in Phoenix, especially after the Booker extension there. Vooch, we wanted Vooch to get traded last year. Who knows if he got traded this year? It doesn't matter. He goes there. Jalen Duren seems kind of fun to start our bigs with. Brandon Ingram, if he's healthy and ready to go to start the year, should go way higher than this, I would think.
I like
but I don't
BI.
know I don't know the timeline of BI, but like that seems a little low.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume he's going to be healthy for the start of the season. I mean, I didn't even think his injury was that bad. They were just like, he got traded and the Raptors were tanking out loud.
Right. Yeah. All right, pretty fun start, Nez. We got 2 guards and 3 wings to start. We got Cade, KD, Ja, Miles, Bridges, and the bad Bridges, and BI. That seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the start of this team constructually for sure. I'm not seeing any like major values right now toward the end of drafts. So like maybe you can help me spot some good picks once we get to rounds, 14, 15, 16.
Okay. Sounds good. Guys still talking about Celtics in the chat there that like, how do you say this guy's name? Kalkbrenner? Kalkbrenner's going to get some burn. He was a 2nd round pick from Creighton. He's 7 feet, whatever. They got Mason Plumlee off the bench as well. Diabate's going to get some burn. I mean, like, I thought Diabate's played really well at the tail end of last year. I was Diabate's guy. But yeah, Plumlee, Diabate's, and Kalkbrenner, if that's how you say the name, from Creighton. Don't know much about the kid.
All right, Diabate. Yeah, of course, Plumlee still there, yeah.
Back there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Michael Porter Jr. on the move to Brooklyn goes at 63 there. Him and Cam Johnson as basically a salary swap for similar players. I think I'd rather have Cam Johnson though.
Well, yeah, they got they did shell over some picks. I do think Porter could be really interesting there. Just like a tall version of Cam Thomas, maybe just getting shots up.
Okay.
Speaking of Cam Thomas.
Yeah, you like Cam Thomas?
I'm thinking about it.
We don't have a big yet. Do you like any of these bigs?
Not particularly.
All right. Let's do it. I do think the narrative around DeAndre Ayton's really interesting. Like, obviously, we talked so much last year about how, like, the Lakers were really lacking a big. And then like JJ Redick had such glowing things to say about DeAndre Ayton coming into the league, and now he gets him like on his squad, and they targeted him, like that sort of thing. Man, if that guy could stay healthy this year, like he was still a 1-1. He still had some explosive games at times last year. Like remember that stretch where he rattled off like 4 games in 7 days of like north of 55 fantasy points. Like, you know, he's not going to be a usage and ball dominant alongside Luka and Braun, but we used to play the shit out of Gafford and the shit out of Lively. What if you just put those two together and Ayton soaks up 32 minutes, 31 minutes? That could be a fantasy asset.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was valuable fantasy wise. I am like kind of curious about what his usage and what his minutes will look like. It's also really strange that like he did not earn a lot of money at all. Like
I don't even know what the figure was off top of mind.
I don't know the exact number. I'd have to look it up, but like I just remember it like being kind of like shockingly not high.
Okay.
Let me see here. Yeah, 2 years, 16 million.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, that is shockingly
That's
low.
like what Shea makes in a game.
Nice.
Like,
yeah,
like
and
that
that's like a former
wild.
1-1 who's shown spurts of good basketball. I mean, maybe that's the quote unquote discount you have to take to keep them under the apron to be on the Lakers to make them a contender. Maybe he's going, you know, I got my Puma money in the bag back in the day. It's time to win and take this shit seriously, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, or alternatively, he couldn't get the bag anywhere.
That's what you're hoping. It's the former.
Yeah. DeJounte Murray's ADP is pretty high. I have no idea what his timeline looks like.
Yeah,
He's staring us in the face.
Good. I'm not really confident about that. I do like Scoot, and I like Kessler too.
Dude, we're Walker Kessler guys. We've always been Walker Kessler guys. I think we start off our big with Walker Kessler here. I have no idea what they have in terms of depth at the center position without looking yet, but
well, they got rid of John Collins.
That's a good point. Yeah, nice.
So it's like, you know, him, Filipowski. Let's see here.
Oscar Thibault.
Micah fucking Potter.
Yeah, wow. Micah Potter. Oh, Yusuf Nurkic. That's where Nurk went.
Yeah. Interesting spot for Nurk. But
yep.
I like it for Kessler.
Okay. Let's do it.
Pass on Ace Bailey, but like I don't know that dude wants to be there.
Dude, yeah, Ace Bailey's whole narrative was he doesn't want to be with Utah. Utah's also like going to be like pretty deep, like last year, where they just run 12 deep over and over again. Like I'm looking at this roster and I'm like, yeah, so what? You got rid of Clarkson and that sort of stuff, but like, man, they're going to play all these guys.
Who's all these guys? Because like,
I mean, they all got burned last year, like Collier, Filipowski, George, and then Harkless. Ace Bailey.
I mean, Filipowski got run whenever they were tanking.
That's true.
Like he was not like a serious play when they were.
But now they have roadblock guys too, man. They have roadblock guys that are old, like Nurk, Love, and Slow-Mo. There's 3 guys over the age of 30.
Who's Love roadblocking?
No, I just mean
not
like
going to play.
To starting a game or something. The guys are asking why Nembhard's still here. Should we do Nembhard, or is there correlation with Van Fleet?
Pritchard's a better pick, but I don't know.
Pritchard's a better pick? All right. Pritchard it is. Let's do Pritchard. Yeah, we were jumping up and down to play Pritchard any night that, 2 Celtics were out. And now we have at least 1 out for the season, and Holiday's gone now, and Porzingis and that sort of stuff. So let's do it.
Yeah. Simons and White obviously still guards there, but I think Pritchard's going to get shots for days off the bench for sure.
Ooh, Ghost AF with the alpha. The Jazz are going to tank even harder this year because they have the pick. Their pick goes to OKC unless it's top 4. All right.
Send the Jazz.
Sorry.
Send the Jazz to the basement, bro. Just unbelievable. Bunch of fucking losers.
Wow, Jaden Ivey at 94. Okay. Guy's naming dudes. He's back. I mean, he played at the tail end of last year, and he was kind of fun the year before, but that one's surprising.
Yeah, he really likes him.
Okay. Yeah, like how's Nemhard still there? And then Nick says Nemhard only plays in the playoffs. We passed on Nemhard there. I mean, good Canadian kid, kind of fun, but Pacers have to take a step backwards next year, like just in general, like no Hallie, no Turner. But that doesn't mean that Nemhard can't be, Nemhard and Benny Math be usage monsters on a team that plays super fast. So I get it both ways, I guess.
Yeah, I'm definitely like more or less out on the Pacers, but yeah, that usage does have to go somewhere for sure.
Yeah, and they're still going to be so fast, right? But they'll probably still run 11, 12 deep in the regular season like they're prone to do. You just hope that their game totals are like 232. There's the Zinger pick. Wow, Klingon going before Zinger. That's cool.
Wow.
What about Big Mark Dubb sitting here, dude?
Okay. I'm with it.
What about KPJ as another bad boy? He's a naughty boy. We don't necessarily want to take all the naughty boys, but, no Dame, and now you get KPJ.
Yeah, do you like Cam Johnson at all?
Where'd he go? Sure. Yeah, we probably use a wing here. Let's do it. I mean, I'm always skittish about like the fourth option on like a good team. Like I'll always gravitate to like the guy who's the usage monster on a bad team before I go to, the fourth option on the Nuggets kind of thing. But yeah.
Well, who do you think he's behind Aaron Gordon usage wise?
I mean, Aaron Gordon played his heart out in the playoffs. I thought he was really good. I maybe not in like offensive ball dominant usage, but I would think he would be less of a fantasy contributor on a nightly basis because, he's just going to fill up more categories.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just excited to see Cam Johnson on a good team. Like the Jokic effect for guys. I'm probably double counting, but I always liked Cam Johnson, so I'm excited to see him on Denver with a good team.
Mm-hmm. Bobby Stats saying that doesn't love a lot of guards that didn't fall. He's like, or he doesn't love Ivy, but a lot of guards didn't fall there, so he wanted to grab that. Okay.
Yeah, Man, I thought Onyeka would make it back, but that dude took him 105.
Where is big Clint Capella?
Rockets.
Oh, okay. Reunited with the Rockets there.
Yeah, so I'm not in love with that. They've got like a million centers in Houston.
We were clamoring for him to get traded at the deadline last year to the Lakers. It made too much sense,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, nothing. They had too much pride. Yeah. There goes Cam 111. See, like all these, everything's too efficient, man.
Well, we're on stream with a bunch of sickos right here, but so keep pointing them out to people that Cam Whitmore looks like a good value to you right now.
Yeah, and so does those Bucks guys too that went. All right.
Well, we still got one. We got the bad Porter here if we want it.
Okay.
Naz Reid in capital letters. Khalil Ware.
I kind of like Ware.
All right, I'll scroll the F down. You know that. Khalil Ware played really well at the tail end of last year. I mean, a lot of his monster games came when Bam missed time or when they didn't have the post-trade wing depth stuff. So like the post-Jimmy Butler trade, like a lot of Ware's good big-ass box scores came in that window where they played the double big lineup and no Jimmy. So I'm really interested to see what Ware can do kind of as backup 5 run, or like if they still do double big, but then like do it with Wiggins and stuff on the floor now. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just excited for his ceiling, man. He's a freak. and he really just can get fantasy points in bunches. So love him in the 10th. Like that's such a great pick.
Yeah. Jets, usually a baseball guy, dropping by to ask about NFL. Yeah, man, there's a whole docket of stuff coming for NFL. I'll share a little something here because we've been building out some stuff behind closed doors after we make this next. Oh, you know what? I could probably do it right before there is a next pick. There you go. That is what week 1 on the platform for NFL looked like last year. That is what you have to look forward to in terms of contest selection and all sorts of stuff there. Little peek behind the curtain of some stuff Nez and I and Pete have been working on together. So yes, there will be tons of daily stuff. And yes, we will cover the shit out of it. And it will be fun as fuck. I promise. So yeah, there will be $5 battle royales. There'll be $3 battle royales. There'll be $100 drafts. There'll be $25 drafts. It is going to be bigger and better than baseball is right now. It's going to be bigger and better than basketball was all season long there. So if you are first time grinders on the platform and this is your first time doing a best ball summer alongside us, or this is your first time doing multiple sports and doing baseball on the platform, you have a lot to look forward to with football coming around the corner.
Yeah, I forgot that they did play around with $7 battle royales, but I think they're going to do 5. I would imagine. I think they ended up they went to 7 and then went back to 5.
Yes, exactly. All right, Nez, we got all those wings leaving, so we could take Tari Eason below Koulibaly, a mean merchant out here. Zach Edey's tall. That's all I could say about him. Yeah, what do you like?
I'd say Koulibaly or your guy TJ.
Oh my God. Okay, fine. If you're gonna give me TJ on the team, I'm taking TJ on the team, dog. First draft of the year, TJ. I did not expect him to have an ADP this high, but yeah, I guess it makes sense.
I mean, all the hype from the playoffs, plus understanding that Hallie is out for the season. I don't know. I think it's fine.
Okay.
He's at least earned himself like 25 minutes a game, right? With the potential for more if injuries happen to the team.
Yeah, I think the starting unit for that team will definitely favor Nemhard and Benny Math and like some of the younger legs for the start of the year for sure. And he'll still be utilized in that like 7th, 8th man capacity, but we know what he can do from a rates perspective. So yeah, those spot starts, he's going to find your way into your lineup, or he can do enough off the bench that, if you get 3 games from him in a week, 2 are starting and 1's off the bench, he's probably going to find your starting roster. But yeah, it is just kind of evergreen here, Nez, as we talk about the intricacies of like these late round picks and stuff in hoops comparative to like football and stuff. It is way, way harder in basketball to crack your lineup as a late round pick than it is as a football contributor. Like backup running back, sure. Pop off, ceiling shot, MVS finds your lineup as a spike week guy. Absolutely. In hoops, because it's a full week, and there's 3 or 4 starts in there for some of your studs, like TJ McConnell is never ever starting for us over Cade Cunningham or John Morant unless those guys are hurt. So yeah.
For sure, but you never know. Never know for a flex.
Mm-hmm. This is a good point. I am missing the Dog Bowl on that list because it was from week 1. There, so the Dog Bowl. I don't think Dog Bowl was live for week 1. Oh, maybe it was last year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Initially. Oh yeah.
It was just for battle royales.
Yeah,
6 persons.
That was just the BR stuff. All right,
Nez. We got for bigs.
Not many. Filipowski, Draymond, Lively.
Window.
You gotta give me a name, dog.
Naismith. Well, you just finally scrolled up with 5 seconds left.
Naismith. Let's
go Naismith.
Little teammate
play the Pacers.
All right.
Yeah, Biggs we missed the sweet spot of Biggs. Let's pull up Biggs right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like see what's left, because we for sure need 3, possibly 4. All right. Yeah.
Valanciunas, Jay Huff just got a deal from the Pacers.
Yeah, what's this Jay Huff stuff?
He was good from a rates perspective last year, but as like the third big, but he was like a 10-day guy last year. He was a 10-day guy and then signed a full and then played his way into a contract for this year. So cool story. I don't know if he's good for fantasy basketball, but interesting.
He's probably gonna. Well, yeah, he didn't get a ton of money, but
yeah,
4-year deal for the Pacers, and they just lost Turner. I don't know.
Yeah, not bad. Dante DiVincenzo bounce back season. Isaiah Collier could start all year there. Oh, Colin Sexton is in Charlotte now. That's the one I missed on the list when we were talking.
Yeah, do you
about
think
Charlotte.
he starts?
If he does, that's probably bad news for Brandon Miller? Question mark?
Brandon Miller's starting, like 100%. But as far as like usage, I mean, if they cede usage to Sexton from Miller to Sexton, that's just like all-time terrible coaching.
Yeah. Oh shit, we're back up on the clock here. Draymond as just kind of like a get some minutes big.
I think
Middleton,
he goes Santi Aldama personally.
I think he might have gone. Santi. There he is. All right, Santi Aldama it is. You think Santi Aldama's backup 5?
I mean, he just got a bag, and they lost Bain. Obviously, they play different positions, but yeah, I think he's definitely in their plans.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah,
the Santi Aldama contract was so big that Jack Settleman needed to do rage bait on it.
Did not
3 for 50. 3 for 50. You missed that? 3 for 52 million.
3 for 52 million?
Yeah, 3-year 52 mil.
Santi Aldama is only 24. 7-footer. Shot the 3 a little bit last year. I guess he can be like a super long 4 and play alongside like JJJ. But they're like, he's pretty much boxed out of the starting lineup almost for sure, right? Because they're going to have Edie and JJJ. So he'll be kind of like second man up big.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to, starting lineup, no, but like play enough, I think so. Especially given what options we had available to us at this late in the draft.
They don't really have anyone else who's like massive on the roster. Remember we talked about them with like wing depth guys that we were always like juggling. I guess it was more just like depth guys that we were always juggling last year. But like Gigi Jackson and Brandon Clark, who are both like power forward, but like smaller and different archetypes than Santi. Santi played really well last year. # follow the money. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we are back up here. Levert, Derek Queen, I have no idea who that is. Eldon Johnson, Jaime Jaquez, Reed Shepard. Eves Misi?
Sure. Yeah, let's do Eves. Dude. We need a 4th big.
Yeah, we need a 4th big, and if we get no Zion there, I think I caught out of the corner of my eye he was playing Summer League the other night. Someone also said someone in the chat was playing really poorly in Summer League.
Where?
Khalil Ware's been awful in Summer League. Okay, interesting. Okay, let me this is kind of fun to do this all on the fly while we select guys. All right. Oh, Levert's
so we're done at big
now. Okay.
Yeah, he's a Piston. That was a nice addition for them.
Nick's going with Quentin Grimes with the tail end of last year there. I mean, could you imagine if they play themselves out of contention again with some injuries and then Quentin Grimes just does what he did at the end of last season again? That's a smash at 158. We've seen isolated game ceilings.
He's definitely a good pick in the 14th round.
Okay.
Like how is he not involved somehow, some way, somewhere?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, they drafted what's his name, VJ, who looked really good in the first game of summer league there.
Yeah, Edgecombe. Derek Queen is
Where is
also a rookie.
For the Pels, you're talking now? We're bouncing back
Yeah.
to the Pels situation. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Let me
he
bring
was
up.
in.
Okay, let's see. Yuzbisi's in their starting lineup right now. We have no idea what's going to happen with Zion. Derek Queen was their first round pick. Kevin Looney's now there. Carlo Makovic had some good games down the stretch last year, but probably not like a long-term plan for them. Nez 5'4" right now. I guess we're done at big. So guard or wing, any kind of like scrolly F downs that you're thinking about here?
Not particularly. Got to think about maybe. I guess I don't know if Nas worth it, but I thought I saw Sensible. I've always been like somewhat intrigued by Sensible.
Where was he?
For
There
the
he is.
Jazz.
Yeah. Bryce Sensible. Some interesting names out here. Like Jaime Jaquez, we know what he can do from a rates perspective if he ever plays, but who knows if Spoelstra will let him play. Someone in the chat asking where Jerry McCain's going. 146.9 there.
Yeah, he's a fun pick.
Yeah. 6th man of the year, just hanging out all by himself. Still in the last round here. Or potential 6th man of the year.
Let's take a look at our team real quick, just so we can maybe pinpoint what we need for the last pick.
Okay, so we are at 5-6-4 here. I'll remind everybody that in NBA you start 2 guards, 2 wings, 1 big, 1 flex, and 10 bench players. So you're really looking for ceiling shooters or contingent plays that can hop into your lineup here. 5-6-4 with Cade, Ja, Cam Thomas, Peyton Pritchard, TJ McConnell, Kevin Durant, the Bad Bridges, BI, Cam Johnson, Aaron Naismith, Bryce Sensabaugh, Walker Kessler, Khalil Ware, Santi Aldama, and Yiz Misi.
Okay.
Dude, this team's like not like, I don't know. I haven't looked at the playoff schedule at all. I haven't looked at if we should be forecasting how many games people are playing in the playoffs. That got us in trouble last year with the Orlando stuff because Paulo was like the guy you needed. And so many guys are just resting down the stretch. We haven't gone full deep dive rabbit hole. So I don't know if this team's good or not. But when I look at it on the surface, I'm like, we're a little weak at big, but this is a pretty strong team.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very well rounded. Dosunmu doesn't seem like a bad option for us.
Yeah, Io. We can put him in the queue there. I'll go scrolling here. We'll see if we can come up with some stuff. Terrence Shannon had some flashes last year. Jay Huff got the deal. Darren Sharp's kind of a moon shooter. Jordan Hawkins was the best shooter in the draft 2 years ago. Nah,
it's fun.
Na's fun. Okay, that sounded more intriguing than Io. You said Na's fun, so I was like, okay. Yeah, I mean, you're really grasping at straws down here.
Oh, yeah.
Man, this Bruce Brown coming full circle back to Denver after he was the piece that allowed the Pacers to get Pascal Siakam is just truly incredible.
I'm glad he's back because, yeah, he was not doing much relevancy wise since he left, and he was so good for them when he was a Nugget.
Yeah, he was, dude. He was like a more physical Christian Brown for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's a good way to put it. Even though I love Christian Brown, but
yeah, me too.
Did he get drafted in this? Certainly, right?
He must. Let's see. Christian Brown is listed as a wing, so he goes at 88. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
big minutes.
He should be a wing. He has guard energy, but he should be a wing, so that's good.
Yeah. Just notable undrafteds here, like Sam Hauser, if he jumps into more minutes this year. I don't think it's much of a ceiling play though, but like Buddy Hield is a guy who can shoot the lights out in an isolated week. Isaiah Jackson, like coming back to the big rotation and Turner vacating it. So that's kind of interesting. He was injured most of last year. Brooke Lopez on the Clippers. There's a guy that we're accustomed to drafting. Yeah, man, I'm just kind of scrolling here. Is there anybody else whose names are like kind of popping to you?
No, this is a really bad spot here. I have no options down here, no ideas. It's all pretty bad. You know, Bruce Brown and Grady Dick, I think, are options. Maybe Keon Ellis, right? He starting at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's an option.
Dude, I'm looking down here. Like, there's like Diabate's kind of jumps out to me as a guy who could step in and be like kind of like the starting big there.
Yeah, no, I think he's a good one, right? We took him a lot last year, and there's not a whole lot in his way right now.
Yeah, like just as like a tack on big. Zach Collins had a stretch last year that was pretty impressive at the tail end. It's kind of a contingent play off of Nurkic getting moved or getting hurt, but like he had a couple like big ceiling stretches. Can we close the door on Jonathan Isaac?
Yeah.
Goga and Mo Wagner. Have no idea what Mo Wagner's timeline is, but probably doesn't matter. Delano Banton doesn't have a team. Get this guy on a team.
This is a conspiracy. I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but it's pissing me off.
Dude, AJ Johnson was cooking in spring league or in summer league. In summer league, AJ Johnson as like a prove that we won that trade. Scroll the F down. There's your fucking guy. All right, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna read the team again there because I just read it. We added Nickeil Alexander-Walker to the back end of that. He is now a Hawk. Moving on from the T-Wolves there. Fun draft, fun first draft. Appreciate all the members of the community who are in here. I see Best Ball Viper in here. I see Bobby Stats in here. I see Steph in here. I see, baby Stevie's in here. Nick's in here. Melch is in here. Love to see it, man. Great stuff. We'll be sure to rip a bunch more of those. So, yeah, stay tuned over the course of the summer. We'll keep breaking those ones down. So let's see if you guys are sick enough to do it. I am going to hop on over to the other browser real quick because this is going to be a Sidekick draft for us. Shout out to Shady Advice, who dropped off 50 membies at Pete's door this morning there and was on the After Dark show. I haven't watched the After Dark show yet, but I heard some really good things. I'm going to jump in the Dalmatian and see if we can fill this bad boy because, as we said over the weekend there, your boy was in a golf tournament, smelling some roses. 2 more spots in the Dalmatian. So I was playing a bunch of golf. I did not have time to do full-fledged best ball drafts just to keep up with my my slow draft stuff there. So I really want to get some of these in. Perfect. We filled that bad boy. I'm going to go ahead and remove this from the screen just for a half second. And I am going to bring it up with the Sidekick alongside us right here. All right. Perfect. All right, there we go. We're back in active tab. Oh, we got some slow drafts to cook as well. We'll jump in the Dalmatian. Okay, we got some time. We rolled a 109 draft slot in the $101 there. Let's make a quick slow draft pick here. I got myself, these are 2 Pitbull drafts. I got a 2-3-6-0 cooking. Goff and Herbert, Achane, Brees, Aaron Jones. We got a couple skinny stacks going on here. No tight end yet. I imagine the Sidekick is going to tell me it's tight end season. Ooh, interesting. They think my running back room's a little weak, and Tajay Spears is the pick still. Tajay Spears or Rashad White? Let's do Tajay Spears. I haven't done Tajay Spears a whole lot this offseason. Let's go ahead and click him. I heard him getting hyped the other day by Josh and Hayden. So let's go ahead and click Tajay Spears. I think they said he's a monster in the open field. This one, I know I got to click this because I already looked at this one half a minute ago. Yeah, I already started up. This was a full, interesting concept here, guys. I don't know if this is good or bad, but I went with a full punt tight end build, and I went a 3-5-7, and I'm just going to bang off 3 tight ends at the end here. And I got some week 17 correlation with some Carolina stuff that makes JT Sanders a good pick. And I also got some week 17 stuff with Dalton Schultz. I think I'm going to take Sanders because we just need to have like we just need to have like a little bit of a ceiling shot at our tight end when you fully punt. And that feels a little bit better than Dalton Schultz. All right, let's do this. We are into the draft. See if we got some friends and family in here. Jump Freeze in here with us, and our guy Chad's in here as well. Love to see it. Yeah, I'm a no hat golf bro. I hate the way my head feels like all sweaty wearing a hat. Like when I was young, I was a catcher and like shit like that. So I hated it, man. I was a no hat golf bro. I know it's truly deranged. Nez, Neighbors, Nico Collins, Ashton Genty.
Let's go your guy Neighbors.
All right, let's do it. We've been doing a lot of Nico in recent memory, so we'll switch it up here. Get a little Neighbors share in the 101 Dalmatian pick.
What do you think about 4 out of 12 advancing here? How does that change the way you would draft?
I don't know. Haven't thought about it at all until you just posed that question on me. Maybe that's a good little breakdown there to remind everybody about the format stuff here. Only a 23-person seat final, so week 17 obviously doesn't matter as much. A week 16 is all that matters contest with this 1 out of 8, maybe many are saying. But yeah, as you're alluding to, Nez, 4 out of 12 to get through, then 1 out of 5, 1 out of 8. I don't know. Have you done any of these? Given it some thought?
I haven't yet, no, because I've just been, so deep into my slow drafts that any chance that I get to draft, it's like, well, I've got a dozen slow draft picks to make, so let me just do that instead.
Right. Genty goes there. Nez, I imagine this is going to suggest maybe like some Bowers or something like that, or Derrick Henry. I think you and I are both team Derrick Henry over Bowers, though, right?
Yeah, I'm a big Derrick Henry guy.
Okay. I threw out a tweet this morning there, Nez. Got a little bit of engagement, not as much as any of my tweets. I always want more engagement here, but I just want people to like have conversations with me. I don't even care if you hit the like or the retweet or anything, but I was genuinely having a conversation. I wanted to have a conversation about the old running back resurgence of last year and whether we're kind of like overcorrecting this year, and not necessarily overcorrecting by like pushing up running backs, because I think maybe we were just structurally wrong in the past in half point PPR. And now there's some really good data that suggests, addressing that running back position with volume or early as well means it's good. Right. But I'm a little skittish on Mixon, Kamara, and Henry did it last year, so they can do it again. What are your thoughts on like zooming out the sample? Maybe these guys are just freaks. Maybe Derrick Henry is just the biggest freak athlete we've ever seen in our whole lives, which is in the realm of possibility, and he can hang on doing this forever. But like, where's the age cliff conversation at right now?
I'm not one to like bet on age cliff stuff, really. It doesn't happen as often as we think. I think we just like have in our mind like the guys that do fall off like so starkly, and then you're just like, damn it, like I got hit. But then like, what about the times where the age cliff doesn't hit, and then you're just like totally fucked because you went with the shiny new toy when the tried and true veteran who was takes care of his body better than you could ever imagine, like is still in good shape and is still really good at the game. Like that happens so often. I do think that there always is some inherent like recency bias to a negative degree every single year. We always overcorrect to what just happened. But to me, this feels like an extremely, and I think we probably say this every year.
Mhm.
This does feel like a pretty efficient market at the moment.
Okay.
Where I disagree with the market the most, I think, is where with some of the QB prices and the tight ends. So that's where I'm really like getting like pushing my edge, and where more of my concentration is exposure wise is in those two areas.
That's you and I are in lockstep there, my friend. And I think it's probably because we hang out so much, or also probably because we've just isolated the same thing. Very interesting room right now. Quarterbacks getting pushed up. Marvin Harrison and Garrett Wilson don't usually fall this far. Do you have a preference between the two, or do you like somebody else?
No, either one of those guys are good with me. Maybe Garrett. Let's go with the top.
All right, let's do it. Sidekick telling us Garrett Wilson is the better of the two picks. So let's go ahead and take that suggestion there. I think in a vacuum, I prefer Garrett Wilson to Marvin Harrison. But if you wanted to fight me on like, yo, we were just a year early on Marvin Harrison and they're going to schematically change stuff to suit him in terms of not just running fucking go routes over and over and over again from the X position, I'd entertain it.
Yeah, I definitely, don't want to full fade Marv for sure. There's a high chance that we were just early, but at least we've seen Garrett Wilson put up 1,000 yards 3 times so far. So there's that. Playing a little bit safer, even though it's 4 out of 12, which is kind of silly, but
yeah. Nolan with a good point to double down on your notion there too. It doesn't take a lot to be efficient in the Ravens backfield. So maybe even if he does lose a bit of that home run stuff. I mean, you brought up the stat the other day that Lamar didn't even have a carry inside the 5 last year.
yeah.
Jaden Daniels staring at us here. Tet as a pick. Kittle. I think Kittle, DJ Moore, or Tet. Who do you like?
Let's do Tetaroa.
All right, Tetaroa it is. Yeah, I don't do a ton of Tet, but we talked about it on Coach Speak Index's show that some really bullish coach speak about him being able to win over the middle of the field, win with his big frame, some really bullish stuff. So yeah, it got me kind of excited about him.
I'm very excited. If he lives up to the bill, then he should be a great pick, and we're potentially getting a discount here that could be because of getting burnt by Marv from last year. As a top 10 pick, but like with very little target competition around him. It's just a matter of like how's the offense going to be. So
yeah,
I think he's a pretty fun pick.
Yeah, good shout there on the burned by Marv stuff from last year. Like people are a little sour to that notion. Like we'd rather have the safe and comfy clicks of like, Brian Thomas this year because we saw it last year, right? And I mean, he earned that ADP, but like, people in the chat talking right now about like the Marv stuff as like a prototypical year 2 bounce back. That's a separate conversation from Tet, where it's like people are just a little more skittish on Tet and we don't really know how to value Hunter. So it's kind of like, well, let's just keep them down here for a bit, but that could change in the blink of an eye if you see 2 preseason games and people see him in an NFL uniform and go, holy shit, why weren't we taking this guy like we thought we were taking Marv last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
I just noticed this Demon at 25. That is a stance. Get your guys season.
His Sims must know something about Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetical scenario: if Jahmyr Gibbs was out of our life tomorrow, where would David Montgomery go? Probably right there. Like probably a little bit.
I think he goes like 4th round somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that seems about right. Like kind of like the Gus Edwards dilemma of 2022 after J.K. Dobbins got injured in camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very similar.
Yeah. Maybe a little discredit to the talent of David Montgomery. Travis Hunter comes all the way back here. I kind of want to do Ridley or Ken Walker. Who do you prefer?
Let's do Ken Walker.
Okay, cool. I haven't been doing a ton of Ken Walker in recent drafts, but he was definitely a target of mine early on. So I kind of want to get back to that lifestyle. I think why is because he wasn't falling back to the right-hand side of the board anymore. He was going more kind of up in this left-hand side range. And once we already have Tet, it kind of feels weird to make the Hunter bet as well, especially in this kind of like advanced 4 out of 12 format.
Yeah. For me, Ken Walker just like has a weird feel to him because it's like last year he was hurt so much. He has a really good backup, so it's like there's like a little bit of fragility there, at least like for me, like mentally. I'm just like, oh man, his backup is really good. But he does have a high ceiling and a quarterback change. So like there's just like a weird vibe around Ken Walker. I don't know if that's just me, but yeah, like I don't take him a lot, but I do recognize that he could smash.
Yeah, I think the other side of that vibe is new OC change that is primarily a 2 tight end guy and run heavy and outside zone, which plays to his skill set. Let's do this pick here. Juwan Jennings wants a new contract. Is that scaring you enough to take someone else here, or should we take Juwan? Okay.
I'm Godwin.
Godwin? All right, cool.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me. Yeah, unstacked Burrow does not tickle my interest. I mean, Godwin has his own problems with potential health stuff for week 1 and that sort of stuff. But, 4 out of 12, we can mask maybe a week or two without him.
Yeah, hope. I mean, the hope is that he's just going to be ready week 1. That's if he's not, then that's an unfortunate pick. But it's also 4 out of 12, so we're gonna be okay regardless.
Yeah, it makes it more palatable with like the guys like Addison and the guys like who we can forecast some missed time for.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their Marvin Harrison Jr. Bull cases going today. I gotta get a little bit more of them in my life. I mean, I see it both ways. Again, I think that's kind of my issue right now, but I do kind of forget that he was like this generational prospect and first wide receiver off the board last year.
Yeah, man, 1-2 turn just seems so crazy in hindsight, but he didn't even have that bad of a year.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, like it seems crazy in hindsight, but he definitely still had some of those big ass spike games. I think there was 2 of them. 880.
Exactly true.
Yeah, 885 with 8 touchdowns is what the season long stuff looked like, but only 116 targets. Like that's too low for a guy that you spent like such high draft capital on, and I don't know. It was not creative enough usage. That was the problem.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like the target number is okay. Mm-hmm. But I mean, they only connected on like 60 balls. I mean, I think similar targets for Ladd, and he caught like 80 balls,
Yeah. Different types,
that's part
though,
of
right?
the problem.
I wonder what their ADOTs look like beside each other. Be interesting, just a little like combo conversation. Yeah, this is like the bull case too from Jump Free. It's like 908 with spikes, and it was with bad usage. Like that's bullish in the 3rd round. Like, yeah, I can't fight that. Nez, we're going to be up here in a second. Matthew Golden is spiking here. Ricky Pearsall's on here, who was one of Evan Silva's pound the table guys in his 5 guys he likes to draft that he did with Hayden and Josh the other day. That makes him go. Judkins is here, who obviously has the legal issues right now for being a piece of shit. I like Matthew Golden or Tony Redacted. Who do you like?
I think I like Golden.
Okay. Sounds good.
I do like Tony, though. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big fan.
I do think like that Golden Reed is kind of like a line in the sand for me, like teardrop wise, or like tier break, like just in terms of ADP. I do think like, Pearsall could get there, but like I think he is a little bit behind Golden in my mind. Yeah, that's kind of how I view it. Is that how you view it?
Oh yeah. Pearsall has like one of the widest range of outcomes, I think, in that tier. Mm-hmm. Maybe maybe it's safer than I think, but I do think that Pearsall's floor is no bueno.
Yeah. Nez, we're gonna have some decisions here. We could try and do like Igbuka and push it, but like, what do you win when you win? Baker goes there for no reason. I was just about to lay out my bull case for Baker right there. Unstacked Baker goes in front of us. I think I kind of like this Fields idea on the left side of the board, dude.
Yeah, let's just do it. I will say I'm warming up to Brian Robinson, but I'm cool with Justin Fields. Maybe the Brian Robinson case is more straightforward than I've ever like really given it credit for, but like I think the Commanders are going to be really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think you made the comp before of like poor man's Gibbs and Montgomery.
Yeah.
With Eckler and B Rob. Yeah, I think B Rob could score just like a shit ton of touchdowns. Or maybe did you call it Jamal Williams?
I called it Jamal Williams. Yeah, I think I called it Jamal Williams. Like that.
Just that guy.
Yeah, that guy. I also made the poor man's comp of poor man's Jaden Daniels plus him is like poor man's Lamar plus Henry. Like,
yeah,
that's
what it was
kind of like if he stops running in the red zone, like if Jaden Daniels stops running in the red zone because they're like, oh, we're a playoff caliber team and we don't want you to run with reckless abandon like you did last year and like you did at LSU. Like, now let's go ahead and start using our plotter in parentheses back more in that setting. That was kind of another one of the comps. Sorry for dunking on the naked Baker. It was actually the Evans team. I didn't realize. I thought Evans went in front when we got Garrett Wilson. So you're forgiven.
A few. Anytime you get sniped.
This draft is flying by. 20-second clocks, baby. Oops.
Looking at this, I got access to Fantasy Points data suite, so I'm checking out some of these running back numbers inside the 5 carries.
Okay.
Who? I'm Michael Carter's one because wait, how is this percentage of teams inside the 5 carries? That's not true. What percentage of who do you think's top 3? One of these. Who do you think's top 3?
In terms of team carries inside the 1?
Inside the 5.
Inside the 5. Sorry, inside the 5. Derrick Henry.
Yep.
I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm also thinking.
Yeah. No. That was I framed that poorly.
No, you're good. I'm. Okay. I think this might be a tight end pick for us. I like tight end on the right hand side of the board here. They like Kelsey. Andrews is
or
there
the
with some
Scatterboo?
correlation. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I won't fight you.
Okay. Team carries inside of the 5.
So I'm not sure how this is calculated, or if because this isn't going to hit as hard because I'm curious about how this is calculated, because the reason I'm skeptical on this because I'm sorting by percentage, John, and Nick Chubb is up here in 8 games and he had 83% of the team's carries inside the 5 is what it's telling me. Were they just never inside the 5, Cleveland, because they were so bad? Do you think that's
I guess, yeah, prior to that they were not inside, or they were rotating backs before, so the sample stands out more. I don't know.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt was 3rd.
That checks out.
Yeah, because that's all.
We talked about that. We talked about that so much in the daily stuff that he was big time like that. Okay, Nez, I think this is going to be a nice little pocket for us to address our 3rd running back here. Sidekick is kind of telling us to prioritize Jordan Love. He may or may not come back. The Reed drafters on the other side. I think it's Scata Boys mount up right here.
Yeah. I am a Love guy, but I like Scataboo.
I think there's a non-zero chance he comes back. I haven't fully looked at the board to see how many quarterbacks are on the other side of the board, but 1, 1, 1, 2, 2. The only guy who doesn't have a quarterback is in the 2 hole, and he's been kind of staying in his lane, nothing overly creative. And he doesn't have any stacking partners for Love, and Love is kind of like Love's buried comparatively. Like he's 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks away. So unless the redrafter takes him, I think we're probably decent, but it is the little pocket where quarterback does tend to run. So we'll see.
Yeah, like you said, I think we're safe. Oh, good.
Down to Foreman got some goal line runs there too. Watson had a couple. Not bad. Oh, guys, do us a favor, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff. Badge Bros Brawl is coming later in the week. If you did not vote in the chat, please do so there. Whether you guys want that contest to be 10 rounds or 18 rounds. It was 18 last year for all that remember. Yeah, should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that coming out soon. And yeah, we're going to be doing MLB All-Star Game tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll find some pick'em stuff to do there. Might just, run this back tomorrow, but behind the paywall for the people. Some combination of, a draft or two, maybe another double dribble. I got the itch after that one, but we'll obviously have Off and On the Clock at 1:30 and talk some football there. So, yeah, just hit that like, subscribe, notification. Coming to you guys 2 p.m. Eastern every single day. If you're on the X side, hop on over to the YouTube side. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. You can chat in here and all that good stuff.
All right, so let's see here.
Say your prayers, big dog. Let's go. You love it. You let it go. Comes all the way back.
That was a great read.
Great read, eh? Great read on the team.
That was awesome. We needed that bad.
Yeah, especially after we reached on Fields by like 11 picks or whatever. Like Fields is a guy who occasionally comes back to the other side of the board too. Yeah, almost didn't survive Shane Simp over here, who decided to go Mahomes, Kyler, and Dak. So loading up in a big way. This team looks considerably stronger now that we got Love on it to go alongside Fields there during that quarterback run.
Yeah, I agree.
Little pocket of running back right here, which we're kind of well equipped for right now, Nez, because we have 5 wide receivers on the squad. We have a tight end, and we only have 3 running backs. We got 2 quarterbacks already. Yeah, just kind of a fun pocket to dive into here. Do you have a favorite of the bunching between like Tootin, Ray Davis? Tootin's gone now, but Ray Davis, Rachaad White gives us some more usable weeks. Plus, we have Chris Godwin, if you care about that.
I think White. I think I prefer the Rachaad White points here.
Cool. Yeah, I think a lot more has to break right for Ray Davis to be a usable component than for Rachaad White, which is weird to say. But like Rachaad White carries similar similar contingent upside as well. But yeah, I just feel like less has to go right because his role's a little bit more solidified through the air. And that team scored almost as many touchdowns, if not more. Actually, I think it was 2 or 3 more offensive touchdowns than the Bills last year. So if they just run that back, they're both good offensive environments.
Yeah, I like you said, I just think Rachaad White has the better standalone role, like almost certainly, but still but with the same like contingent upside, like if God forbid anything happened to Bucky, Rachaad White's a smash for sure.
Yeah. I mean, my mind with both these players go back to 2 things from last year that kind of scare me with both of them. The emergence of Sean Tucker, kind of like out of nowhere and getting some goal line work and that sort of thing, and even getting a touch in the postseason, that one. And then the Ray Davis one that scares me. was you had the running back who led all of football in scores last year, and yet Ray Davis was the one that got the first crack in the playoffs for a carry inside the 5 last year. So like those two notions there, like you could go spin zone on it either way.
Yeah, I guess like I don't get the Sean Tucker stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I
Like
don't
just not
I
matter at
really
all.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think so. You know, like I think if anything were to happen to Bucky, like sure he's gonna get some work, but like Rachaad White's gonna be who you want week in week out.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Bryce Young goes there, which is a little bit unfortunate for our third quarterback situation paired up with Tet. Would have been kind of fun. I'm not overly concerned about like any week 17 and stuff correlation here. We haven't really been talking about week 17 and week 16 as we've been drafting here, Nez. But I'm not overly concerned about it in a 23 person final. Maybe that push through phase of week 16, but I'm just kind of content to just kind of keep staying in our lane like this.
Yeah, same here. I'm not overly concerned about week 17 in this contest.
Romeo Dobbs for a double stack here. That feels good to me. Sidekick suggesting Dobbs or Jack Besh. I like it.
Sorry, I got a call and it like came through on my headphones.
You're good. We're going Romeo Dobbs to double stack it up here.
Yeah, Dobbs is the easy pick.
Where should Ford and Sampson be going? Are we going to start thinking about them at all? Do we care at all? Projected for the least offensive touchdowns in all of football right now. People tend to lose sight of that. But like I've seen them go in the 170s, 180s now. Is that something you're interested in or nah?
Oh, I'm definitely interested. I mean,
Okay.
If Judkins doesn't play this year, which I don't think would happen, but yeah, you gotta give these guys gigantic boosts. I mean, it doesn't matter that they suck. They're like if we knew today that Judkins is not playing this year, like Sampson's going ahead of Rachaad White, like he's going pretty close to Ramondre and the Giants guys, like where the last tier of what running back ones are. Like that's
sure, yeah.
It's just an archetype.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And people liked Sampson out of school.
Yep. Nez, I would like to. Gino.
I kind of like Bigsby. What's the sidekick saying?
Jack Besh. Do Bigsby.
Yeah, I'm team Bigsby, man. I think I think what you win with Bigsby is just like so freaking big.
Yeah, especially compared to like Jack Besh, unstacked Jack Besh. I mean, I get the week 17 correlation is probably propping it up a little bit because we have two Giants pieces, but we don't really care about week 17 all that much, even though this is registering as like a standard structured data.
Exactly. Yeah. You kind of have to IKB that a little bit. But when you do have, more than one team on your team, the bring back becomes more and more enticing, or, a better and better pick just because of the bet that you're making. But yeah, I'm team Bigsby there for sure. Man, I feel like there's a non-zero chance he's, the guy you need. Obviously, all three of these guys we're kind of betting on, but definitely not betting on the most expensive guy. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't found myself taking much ETN, but I also haven't found myself taking much Tootin or Bigsby for what it's worth. I don't know why.
Well, Tootin has fell big time. Him and Jaden Blue, I kind of touched on it on our solver video. Like they were two guys that stuck out to me as I was doing drafts. Is like I'm taking them more now as they've kind of fallen to more affordable prices. So yeah, but I think Tootin has room to fall even further. right? Like if training camp comes around, and I wouldn't be surprised if you hear this too. It's like, oh, Bigsby clear lead back or clear RB2, then it's ETN. Like people are just going to overreact to the fact that Tootin is not going to be given favorable coverage and probably not giving favorable reps in camp. I almost guarantee it.
Well, I mean, like Tootin wasn't a guy who didn't who didn't rise at all early until he ran the 40. You know,
right?
Like that was his calling card, right? And then he started to rise for people, and then maybe we overcorrected. We could do one more running back here, or we could start addressing the tight end. I like the K-Dot idea, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. You know, it's just a bet on the team.
Mm-hmm. Like we're doing the Baker thing without Baker, effectively with like our third piece of Tampa. But if they score as many touchdowns as they did last year, or even they score 5 less, they're still going to be in the top 5 of touchdowns scored, and that really matters on our site. Nez, I'm thinking of some names here now that this is, one of my only 3 $110 bullets here. I'm starting to, my brain's starting to cook a little bit here.
No, that's never good.
Oh, buddy. You're going to hate these next 2 picks.
Dude, I don't this is so crazy.
What is?
Like the ETN ADP movement.
Like over the course of the summer?
Yeah, he bottomed out at 124 during BBM.
Damn.
And now he's up to 90 something.
Wow. They like Giddens more than Shipley, but I think that's just a correlation thing. I think I want to take Shipley here.
Over Mason Taylor?
No.
Stack?
You're right.
Rip.
Oh, fuck me. I fucked up. You're right.
Well, Shipley's fine, but I would have enjoyed a little Mason Taylor. Mason Taylor might suck, but certainly seems like he's number 2 in line to be number 2 in targets right now.
Yeah, Mason Taylor's an interesting one because in big board season, he wasn't even getting drafted really. Like people liked Fannin more, people liked Arroyo more. Like they liked that kind of like back end tight end range more than Mason Taylor, and now that's fully flipped, and he's like 10 rounds higher than those guys.
I was woke though, John. Let the record be clear. I was woke because I'm the only one that does the nepotism, modeling around here, and I knew that his dad was Jason Taylor. So I'm like, Jason Taylor's son is a tight end. Sign me up. He went to the U.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Easy money.
He peaked. I'm looking at this through. He peaked around like 178.
Mm-hmm.
He's around like 190.
Yep.
Now 185. So not a huge fall, but he did fall.
Okay. Interesting. Noteworthy for sure. I think this team definitely needs one more tight end, and that's probably why Mason would have been a good pick for us for the correlation purpose there.
Let's see what the Sidekick bros are telling us.
Sure, yeah. We'll unveil in a second.
Why don't you just look now so we don't have scramble? We don't have to scramble.
So these dorks don't snipe us, bro.
These dorks don't care about what we're doing.
It's true. Jalen Coker for some week 17 plus a teammate. Sanders fills kind of like the same void there. Mason Taylor goes because he saw it on the Sidekick.
That's Shane Sitt, man.
The sky's MF and Gray right there. Noah Gray goes. Jaquez Hunter goes. One of your favorite picks there, Nez.
Yeah, 17th round Hunter just is a smash.
All right, Nez. So you're gonna have no say in this pick whatsoever. We're building ourselves a 3-6-6-3 here. Anthony Richardson, come on down on this team.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, and then we'll just close out with whichever other tight end is still left. After, if Mason Taylor was there, I would have taken Mason Taylor. But I just love the wild card stealing shot of Anthony Richardson in the 17th and 18th right now. I just keep clicking it in all my slow drafts.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I think people are a little too confident that like Daniel Jones is going to hold off Anthony Richardson. I watched some Daniel Jones passes the other day and really forgot how bad that dude was.
That's what brings everyone full circle, is watching him play again.
Yeah, like, shit, I forgot this guy sucks.
Yeah.
I totally forgot this guy sucks.
Dav said we should take it Jerome Ford. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fine pick. Not on our roster. We already get 6 running backs here. It is weird that he's kind of still sitting there, so he does go there, which is fine. I imagine this is going to tell us to take tight end. Schultz, Theo Johnson. I think Theo Johnson's kind of more of the moon shot here. Don't you agree, Nez?
Yeah, I'm a Theo Johnson guy, and it's a team bet.
Yeah, we've already made a Giants team bet with 3 correlated pieces from the Giants, despite the quarterback there. I mean, I could see the bull case of people telling us like, "Oh, John, why'd you take Anthony Richardson when you could take like Jackson Dart with all the bets that you made on the positional players?" Yeah, I wouldn't fight you on that, but like I'm just kind of like dude, I've seen this A-Rich ceiling before, and I've seen it in isolated weeks, and like, let me just go Burr like with this thing if he plays 5 games this year.
100%. Yeah, I get it. I have a ton of Jackson Dart personally, but I am like starting to exchange that for Richardson in my slow drafts as I'm like finishing out a lot of slows and just like in puppies and whatnot too, where I'm normally taking Dart as a third, changing that out for Richardson. Just I want a lot of both for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, there's my first of 3 $101 Dalmatians. Beautiful contest out here. One that I made to the finals last year and just wasn't able to do it. I actually took 3 same bye week quarterbacks last year in my Dalmatian.
Wow.
Yeah, absolute idiot. It still managed to get it through though. A 3-6-6-3, which has become popularized in the Discord in recent memory. Not my favorite structure, but found it to work here. Justin Fields, a little bit above ADP, Jordan Love, Anthony Richardson, Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Cam Scata, boys, mount up, Rashad White, Tank Bigsby, Will Shipley. That's the all fucking sweet names running back room. That is the sweet names running back room. We got Malik Neighbors on here. We got Garrett Wilson, Tet. Oh, sorry. I have to call him Tetero McMillan because his mother insisted we cannot call him simply Tet. Chris Godwin, Matthew Golden, and Romeo Dobbs for the love stack. And then Kelsey Otten, Theo Johnson. Maybe could have gone, this tight end room, Kelsey's doing a lot of heavy lifting. Might have wanted to just double down and add another wide receiver now that I look at it again. Or maybe like instead of Shipley adding another wide receiver. But what are your thoughts, Nez? Does it suck or does it fuck?
No, this team fucks for sure. This is a good team. It's very well rounded. I love 3-6-6-3, dude. I'm such a big fan of the structure. I don't want to say that I did it first, but I was doing 3-6-6-3 long before people had the balls to do it themselves.
Nez was doing it, baby. Nez was the original enjoyer.
You're only going to hear it on stream. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do the X trend of I told you to do X, Y, and Z, but I was the first to boldly stand up and say like, why can't we do hyper concentrated builds with wide receiver like we do with running backs? And everyone was like, no, you got to take 8, dumbass.
You got to take 8, bro.
Piss boy draws up.
A-Train warming up to it there. Jumfrey in agreement with you. Our guy Evan as well lives with the 3-6-6-3 or the 3-5-7-3. There you go. The OG BBM winner, was it not? Interesting. Original BBM 1 was a.
No, they're saying the OG Pioneer was
the guy who won
the truck driver. Yeah, but that was me being vindicated, brother. That was
okay. There you go.
I had him. I'll show you. You call me a liar.
Yeah, you want to see the receipts, bitch? You want to see the receipts? We've been doing this.
Just because you win a bunch of money in best ball, Charlie.
Nick saying that his friend gave away his A-Rich jersey to Goodwill, so by the giveaway jersey metric, he's a bad pick now. That's an interesting take. I'll hear you out on that one, Nick. All right,
that's a great metric.
That is a great metric. A couple things to close the show here, guys. I got to tell a little story for 1 second here, if I'm allowed the floor. But also, our guy Evan coming through. That now we have lowers on the exit velocity stuff. So some of that stuff we wanted to do earlier. So he built an alpha one here, which is lower on the O'Neill Cruz, one lower on James Wood. It is lower on Jazz Chisholm distance, is it? Yeah, Jazz Chisholm distance. And then lower on Buxton and who else there? I'm bouncing screens. Lower on Buxton and lower on Matt Olson. Okay, so we will play alongside our friend there, despite it running a little bit against some of our previous picks there, but I will put that one in the chat for everyone. Shout out to our guy Evan, who has never led us astray other than the time he told me to not take Dalton Volshow and to take Vlad Guerrero instead, and it really screwed us. But outside of that one time, Evan is always right. Oh my God, he said higher Buxton. Oh no. All right, here we go. Reuse players. Hold on, back to the pick 'ems. Can he be fast enough? Guys, don't click on the link. Don't click on the link. Here's 5.
Fuck, John.
Cancel. Got it. Refunded. There we go. In case you're an idiot like me and make mistakes like that, the good people at Underdog take care of you. You just quick cancel really quickly. And now this one is in the chat for everybody. There you go.
Jesus.
There we go. There we go. Buck truck for the win. Minnesotans rise up, says our friend chat. So I'll put that in the chat for everyone. And to close out the show, Nez, as we do this one, I got to tell you a story from the weekend here. As I told you guys on Friday, we played in a golf tournament, one in which we were champions last year. Ran it back with 3 out of the 4 guys. Our 4th guy wasn't there, who is an absolute stick and is a scratch guy. So we did not win this year, but it's a little bit of debauchery. It's a lot of fun stuff. You got to play Happy Gilmore swing hole. You got to do a jello shot and then hit a drive. There's a hit a marshmallow off the tee hole, and then you got to drop a ball from where the marshmallow was and then play the hole from there. You got to buy mulligans. You got to do all this stuff, right? There's silent auction. There's all this great stuff for charity. It's a really fun time. But this year was the first time in its, I guess, it's 4th year since our buddy passed, 4th year that we have ever had a tie. And everybody blindly submits their cards as we are coming off the course. And then everybody starts lying to each other, right, Nez? And they start gambling on whether your team beat their team and this sort of stuff. No, man, I got 20 on our team. So they count them out and whatever. So we do dinner and then drinks and then all the raffle giveaway. And now the round ended probably at about 5 or 6 o'clock. And now it's about like 8:30 at this point in time. And everybody's having some pints. And we're waiting for the jacket ceremony where we're going to crown the new champions. And they throw a wrinkle in it and they go, there's a tie. Everybody back out to the par 3 on the hole 4 or whatever and elect your best player from each side. And now by this time, these guys are all boozed up and whatever. And one of the guys had been sitting at our table and I knew how banged up he was. So I started offering everybody lines on, hey, I'll take this guy minus 100, 110, whatever you guys want. And I was starting to book guys bets here. Anyways, 100 people go out to this par 3 and we set up a big gallery and then we walk the gallery all the way to the green and he's making a knee knocker putt around with everybody watching. It was very cool, very good sensation. It was a lot of fun.
I would fold.
That's
too much pressure.
Nick's saying it was an absolute electric tiebreaker. It was so cool. And it was so cool that they didn't tell anybody. And everybody had taken their golf stuff off, right? Nobody had their shoes on anymore. So one guy had sneaks on, which was a bit of an advantage. The other guy was barefoot Bryson out there, kicked off his flip-flops and just had to play in bare feet. It was a very fun idea. It was very cool for a charity tournament. So anyways, if you guys are ever doing that, that was a cool story.
That's awesome.
Guys, good luck tonight in the home run derby stuff. Thank you guys for joining us in both the Dalmatian and the Double Dribble. Tomorrow, off and on the clock at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, alongside our good friend Pete Overzet. And then I'll probably do something, or we'll both do something pending schedule for the Membies tomorrow. After that, obviously no daily stuff to draft, so it might just be like an hour show and do like a double dribble behind the paywall, or do a double dribble and a best ball draft. Maybe do another Dalmatian behind the paywall there for everybody tomorrow, and then back to regular scheduled program on Wednesday. Please vote in the chat of whether you want to see 10 rounds or 18 rounds of the Badge Bros Brawl. It's going to be coming soon. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe, notification bell, all that fun stuff. Anything else for the people, Nez?
No, enjoy the O'Neill Cruise Derby tonight.
I'd love to see it. Hopefully it's better than Jason Bay back in the day. Everybody's favorite time on the show, the end. Peace. Appreciate the sidekick.